Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another DG Guru series. And today the series is not only offline but even it is live online for two students, like few who are sitting in front of me and few who would be watching my video on YouTube after I have just processed this video. So the questions which all my students were asking today is more of like, what is caffeine update? And what is the importance of caffeine update and what all has happened in caffeine update. So caffeine update basically was launched in August 2009 and it actually was implemented almost after a year, that is on 2010. This was one of the most biggest update which came in Google's history, and it almost took 1 year. That entire months and phase that Google took to develop it, it was called as a developer preview. It is one of the biggest thing that actually changed how crawlers work in Google and how the search engines actually gives the results in front of us. So if I talk about caffeine update, so with the help of caffeine update, what is the new thing which has came up on Google, right guys? So on caffeine update, basically the way that Google used to index the pages, that has changed. Earlier, like in the new system, the Google allows the crawlers to store the data more effectively. Like in fact, Google owns the account that were able not only to increase their index but probably far fresher results were coming in front of them, right? Earlier, if we are writing some new fresh contents which is some on new topics, it was very hard for those blogs or contents to rank up on Google. But with the change in the algorithm of the Google, they actually changed the hierarchy and the way that they used to index. Basically, in their old indexing system, pages and contents types were put into a category based on the perceptive freshness requirement, that is as it is related to their updates at any point of time. Different crawlers were sent out, some looking for the change and other indexing changed pages. Like suppose what it means is that different kinds of crawlers were being dedicated for different works. Some were dedicated to bring the new content, some were dedicated to bring whatever the already existing contents are, they were being updated, right? If a site was in a fresh category, it was crawled by different bot that would add the content to the index quickly. But for the most sites, the content would be indexed every couple of weeks. So because of this delayed response in the crawlers working, it was very tough for things to happen on a very quicker note. As a result, the Google's algorithm was not that efficient. Now with caffeine, Google gained a capacity to crawl, collect the data and add it to their index in seconds. Like the frequency has reduced like from weeks to seconds. And meanwhile, the fresher informations were available across the wide range of sites. Now further, it was built with an understanding of growth ahead, and it is how it changed the device and media type that can impact on the resource needed. Now why actually caffeine update, why Google actually needed the caffeine update to launch? What was the necessity of the Google to launch the caffeine update? So this is again a small kind of myth that caffeine is an update. Though caffeine is no algorithm update. Caffeine is actually an update of Google's internal system. This is how, with the help of caffeine system, Google actually were developing the way they were working. It has nothing to take with how we were making the contents and certain guidelines that we need to follow, just like Panda, Penguin, or Hummingbird, and any other update. But caffeine was something more of for the Google's working policy. Initially it was being taken by many of the persons that caffeine update has came up, so now fresh contents may not rank up and they need to again rearrange everything. But that was not the case. Now if I go back to the history, what happened when the internet was initially launched in 1998 and Google started indexing. Like not internet was launched in 1998, like actually Google started indexing and stuff in 1998. So on and on, if I compare of 1998 to 2009 or 2010 when actually the caffeine update was being launched. So when it was being in 1998 when internet and Google started indexing, there was almost 2.4 million sites, and it also includes 188 million people who were live on the internet worldwide. So that was not a huge data. But if I talk about in year 2009, when the caffeine update importance came up in Google's mind, the statistics has almost changed. The number of websites was almost 100 times what it was in 1998. And if I talk about the number of users, it was almost 1.8 billion people who were there live on internet at that point of time. So there was a huge amount of data and huge amount of websites were present, which Google had to index and Google had to make them ready for the users to read it. Now with this tremendous amount of information floating on the internet and tremendous amount of people also sitting online and searching for the various products, it was very tough for Google with the existing way to manage it. This was the reason why they actually changed the algorithm. Now if I'll try to make you understand with a very layman's example, like suppose in your house you have a kitchen, and in your kitchen you need to put stuffs every day. Now suppose your kitchen cupboard is having limited space. Now every day you put one stuff inside and you take another stuff outside, so the space remains the same and the contents keep on coming and going, so not much of the problem you would be facing while managing those kind of contents. But suppose every day 10 more stuffs are being added and you're not removing any stuff outside, and you need to manage along with that even some other things, not only manage the cupboard but also you need to clean the house and many other things that you need to manage. Now that would have added a lot of problems in managing your cupboard. So that was the thing which happened actually with the Google earlier was having not much of the data and their inventory space was limited, so very easily he was able to manage. But with the increase of people coming online, they kept on adding up new fresh contents every day, which was piling up on Google to arrange, index and give the proper update or proper informations in terms of SEO to the people. This actually impacted the Google's working policy, and their Google needed, or their Google actually understood what is the need and why they should come up with this algorithm change. Right? So if I talk about who actually is impacted by this algorithm change, so no one was impacted, because this update was not meant for any of the developer or any of the web users. The main impact which is being done is basically for the crawlings. It is being done for the organic traffic, which is their bots and crawlers. Their algorithm or their working has been changed. There is no negative effect on any website. Basically every update which comes up, it comes up with a negative impact. Like if you're not following this, there will be negative impact. If your site speed is low, it will be negative impact. If you're if I talk about EMD update, if your domain name is big and not following the Google's route, it would impact. So but this update, it was carrying no negative thing along with it. It was more of the things which Google has to make the changes in, not we as an developer or the person who are putting contents live on the Google, right? So this was the most important updates regarding the caffeine update. So I hope you're clear, even you and both the students sitting here. I can see your hands raising that you have few questions, so I'll be addressing your question once after I finish this update. So I hope the caffeine update is clear and even you are able to understand how this update works actually. So thank you for you all joining me on this video, and I hope if you all are having any query regarding the caffeine update, do post your questions in the comment section of mine so that I can even come back to you with a solution of mine. Thank you.